So before pinning the speakers, I just really like to welcome warmly Natasha and Dicken. It's such a pleasure to listen to you two beautiful people sharing from your insights and wisdom. So I look a lot forward to this evening, and I look a lot forward to what's going to happen towards the end of this month, where you come to the island of Tjøme in southern Norway for 3 days retreat. That's going to be so fantastic.
Mhm.
I had a similar thing 3 years ago, and it was just amazing. So we see maybe we talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the session.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Then I'm gonna pin these two people. Yes.
Mhm.
Let's see. Maybe I pin also. No. Okay. We'll do that. Okay. Welcome and hand over to you too.
Thank you so much for inviting us, Tor. We are so excited to be here and also to be with you live in a few weeks. We've been in Norway, what, Dicken, 3 times? I think. It's
Yeah.
always so much fun. Dicken and I were just chatting and reflecting on what we'd like to share with you tonight. And it brought me back to the journey that I've been on, where since I was a teenager, I was looking for something. I was searching in many directions, and in psychological teachings and spiritual teachings, I kept looking for something, and I didn't quite know what it was. And in 2012, when I came to this understanding, I was still doing the same thing. I was like, oh, here's a next new method that's going to make sure that I will never suffer again. Does any of you have had that experience, that you came to this going, this is it, I've got it now? That was how it was for me. I really felt like, oh, now this is the thing that will make sure that life will be easy and fun and always sunshine and ice cream. And of course, that's not the case. That's not what the principles point towards. They point towards something much deeper than that, which is what is actually the nature of reality, what is the nature of experience, and what is it that creates all of it. So I went from looking for, really searching for, what is the method here? What are these guys teaching? What are they doing? I was so skeptical, trying to figure out what is the secret behind what I was hearing, and especially what I was feeling, because I felt amazing. Something was touched deep inside. So I was searching for the method, and what happened after a few years was that I started to look in that direction rather than in the world of form, which is a method. And so when I had a good feeling, I was not so interested in the good feeling. I was really looking for, where is it coming from? Where is it being created from? And the same when I was in a difficult experience, difficult feeling, went, oh, I wonder what creates that. So there's a constant direction that I was going, that I was reflecting on, that keep looking towards, what does the creating? And that was so completely different from anything I'd ever done before. And as a psychotherapist, I'd done a lot of searching and a lot of different methods. So it really turned everything upside down when I saw in the direction of what does the creating. Now, I've had a last couple of months that have been, got one on one chin and then on the other one. There's been a lot of life doing what it sometimes does. Really, with the 3 closest people around me, it's been very, very challenging. And so it's really important for us to see that a life of ease doesn't mean that life stops doing what it does. If you're looking for that, I don't know where to go, but if you're looking for a way to find a place from inside of yourself where life is easier because you know what is doing the creating, then you've come to the right place. So I've noticed during the past few months, and even today, I just had some news that was really difficult. I've noticed that because I don't get frightened by the drama of it, I don't get pulled into it, I'm able to make much clearer decisions about what to do. There's something inside that isn't moving. And that's the big difference, where before I would be caught up in the drama of everything that was going on around me and the experience that I was having. And now I can be in a difficult experience, but not be frightened by it. And so because there's ease in the experience, clarity, wisdom, a direction of moving becomes very, very obvious to me. And so that's really what we want to talk to you about today, is how you can have a life of ease even in the face of challenge. Like, how can you love even in the face of violence and all the things that are going on? So we would love for you to really, we want to invite you to listen beyond our words to where we're speaking from. And so if you find yourself in a good feeling, get really curious to where it's coming from. What is doing the creating of that good feeling?
You don't have to convince people that life is a contact sport. Stuff keeps happening. It's just part of life. I'm at an age where every day I hear about friends who are suddenly having some kind of enormous challenge, or friends dying. Things happen that we don't expect or that create. We're greatly disappointed that things didn't work out the way we hoped. That's just a natural part of life. Natasha and I are really enjoying writing this book, Life of More Ease, that we're working on now. We've learned so much. Because a life of ease doesn't mean your life is easy. Life of ease is that you start learning where to look to access something that's always there, that's uplifting, enlivening, that allows us, as Natasha says, to go through our whatever we experience, to go through it more gracefully. We all get lost. I don't know anybody who doesn't. Sid Banks would get lost. We all get lost. What does that mean? At some point when stuff is happening around us, we get caught up in our thinking about it. Everybody. One time we said, Sid, come on, what's the deal? Why, even after we've learned these principles, why is it that at times we all get lost? We all get caught up. We all start getting caught up in negative thought and thinking it's true and suffering. What's the deal? And his answer really surprised me. Really, he goes, oh, well, getting lost is the most natural thing in the whole world. I said, well, what do you mean? And He said, well, because we're spiritual beings born into a physical body, we open our eyes and we see things. We see objects, we see people, we see trees, we see things. And the intellect is built so it will start conceptualizing about anything we see. So if you look into the world of form, you're going to think more and have more concepts about it. He says that's always going to be true as long as we're in a physical body. And pretty soon you have moments where you start thinking you're living in the world of things. You're living in the world of form, that only what you can see is what is true and matters. So the three principles remind us that what we can see is a small percentage of our world. Very small percentage. Scientists are saying it's 4% of our universe. We're connected to an infinite field of life energy. When Sid has enlightenment experience, he said there's three fundamental qualities to this infinite field of life energy. It's intelligent. It knows how to create everything and operate what it creates. It's right now, it's living us. It's the life energy that's pumping my heart, that's breathing me, that's generating mental activity. It knows how to do that. Knows how to create life. So that intelligence is always built into the fabric of the universe. When Sid has an enlightenment experience, that's the first thing he said he realized was the principle of mind. We're connected to a deeper intelligence that just knows how to operate life, knows how to live life perfectly. This infinite field is not only intelligent and wise, it's conscious, so that everything that's created has awareness, is created from awareness, is aware. This infinite field, scientists and spiritual teachers all agree, is full of creative potential. That out of this infinite field of formless energy, everything comes. That's what Natasha is pointing toward, of looking toward where it's coming from. It's coming from wisdom, from conscious space, from creative potential. So we said, Sid, why do we get so lost? He says, we look out at the world of form and we keep thinking about it. Our thoughts and feelings that we can recognize are in the world of form. So you can think about your thinking. When I learned the principles, I did a lot of thinking about my thinking. I did a lot of thinking about my feelings. And Sid says the only cure for getting lost, the only way to find your true self, the only way to wake up to your spiritual nature, the only way is to look within, beyond the form of your thinking content. Let go of everything you think. Go beyond everything you think. Every talk Sid gave, he'd say you have to go beyond the words, you have to go beyond concepts, beyond beliefs, beyond ideas, or you'll never discover the beauty and vastness that we're connected to, that we're part of. It's right here. There's nowhere to go to get it. We're waves on the ocean, and we can seem like little waves and compare ourselves to big waves. But Sid would say, look down, look within, look beyond. He said, not within your body, beyond your body. What's that mean? Well, beyond any concepts of body, beyond any concepts of who you think you are, beyond concepts that create your feelings and what you're feeling. Beyond that, he'd say step before the five senses. Now, each of us has to find out that there are already times when we stop thinking about life and we're just resting in the present moment. We're not paying attention to our thought content. We're just present. I could follow any of you around and I could point out moments when you drop out of thought into the present moment. It's ordinary. That's why we miss it. And very few people, when they feel that life is a contact sport and they start having some painful thoughts about what's happening, very few people immediately go beyond all that thinking and stop paying attention to form. What does that mean? When I'm fully present, I'm so wide open. I can see, I'm aware of my hands way out here. I'm aware of my voice. I can see you. I'm wide open. I'm not focused and concentrated on anything. That's presence, our natural state. Look at a baby. You'll see what presence looks like. Just wide open to everything. Not caught up in and focusing on anything. Present. There's no concentration in presence. Just natural. People say, how do you become present? There's nothing a human being can do to become present. We are present. It's when we stop engaging in form that presence is natural. Now, here's the deal. This is what's so cool about learning these principles. You begin to learn that whenever you feel tension of any kind, I don't care what it is, for any reason, for any kind of tension, it means you're starting to focus on form in a way that's not helpful. You're caught up in thought. You're paying attention to ideas, beliefs, and concepts. You're caught up in idea, in your story. And the feeling then becomes the best thing ever. It's a wake-up alarm clock. Thank God I feel stressed. Thank God I feel upset. It's waking me up out of content, out of form, into presence. Natasha and I love saying, if you let go of everything you think, everything you feel, if you're not holding anything, you're just resting, not doing, not trying. Trying is thinking that creates stress. You're just resting. No effort, no trying, no searching, no doing, just present. If you let go of everything, what remains? What's always here? Like right now, if I'm not holding any thought in mind, I'm just present with you. I don't disappear. But what's the I that doesn't disappear? I'm still here. It's an aware presence. When I rest in aware presence, as opposed to focusing on form and thinking about it, when I rest in aware presence, what's the feeling of presence? I don't know, because I'm not thinking about it, but it feels good. That's what Sid would say over and over again. Listen Rest in presence. Listen. You can't think and listen. You can't think and be present. Rest in presence. And there's a feeling of presence. Even you could be in the worst mood ever, and you're a thought away from resting in presence. And the feeling of resting in presence feels like when you get in bed at night and they go, ah, ah. Just natural. So when we say all you have to do is know where to look, and then you do nothing, a lot of people don't know if you have to know where to look, which is presence, and then do nothing. A lot of people say, oh, you don't do anything. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You let the alarm clock wake you up, and then you know it's time to rest in presence. So Sid says, if you really see that it's thought creating this, it'll bring you right back into resting in presence naturally. It's not a technique, not something you do. You put your hand on a hot stove. As soon as you realize that's what's causing your pain, this happens. So Sid says, if you're holding thought and it's creating tension, stress, or upset, and you realize it, you take your hand off your thinking. You take your hand off of focusing on the content of your thinking, the content of your feeling, the content of people and what they're doing, and thinking about what they're doing, and thinking about what you should do, and thinking about what's happening, and you become fully present. He says, if you really see thought, it brings you back to presence, brings you back to that nice feeling of presence. And it's in that feeling that this deeper wisdom will just take over and guide you. The computer was never meant to guide you, ever. Let go and let God. Not my will, but thy will be done. Do you know that there's an evolution in consciousness that's happening so that more and more spiritual teachers like Sid Banks are saying the vast majority of your thinking isn't necessary or helpful, that when we're fully present and, in a sense, not thinking with our personal mind, we do beautifully. You drive a car, you parent, you live your life. You don't have to analyze to make a decision. When you're fully present, wisdom will bring you exactly what you need when you need it. You do that when you drive a car. You do that when you walk through a trail in the woods. Your legs keep moving without you analyzing how to do it. That's presence. And in presence, there's a feeling. And in that feeling, there's guidance, there's a knowing. Do you know, I played sports. I played football, soccer, a good part of my early life. And I learned, like many, many athletes learn, when I'm fully present and not thinking about what to do and how to do it, is when I'm at my best. Why is that? Wisdom would take over. I didn't know that at the time. So when I got off the field, I didn't rely on wisdom to keep living me. So, excuse my language, but shit happens. And at times we all get caught up in thinking about that. But the good news is you learn quickly that any kind of tension means you're caught up in content, you're caught up in form, you're caught up in ideas. There's only one cure. So Sid would say every human being is a thought away from what they're looking for. How far away is what's already here? How far away is the present? It's right here. Right here. You could be in the worst state of mind ever. You're a thought away from not holding thought, not giving your attention to form, being present. And then you learn that resting in presence is not avoiding a problem, denying a problem. It's letting wisdom take over. My friend Elsie Spittle would say, being mentored by mind becomes your teacher, your guide. 90 to 95% of the thinking we do is unnecessary to live your life fully. As a matter of fact, it just gets in the way. I'm finding out more and more, I don't have to make life decisions. When I get quiet and present, wisdom makes those decisions. Easily, it just says, do this, do that. It's not me figuring it out. We were given a computer and that was a gift, but then we didn't know how to use it wisely. So the instant you misuse your computer, there's tension, stress, or upset. It means close your laptop. You've had enough screen time. You won't find the answer in stored information or memory. You'll find it only in the feeling of presence. There's a knowing right here, just waiting, always guiding you perfectly. It's been doing, Sid would say, it's been doing that your whole life. You just haven't realized it. Tons of times, even when you're having the most difficult times in your life, at moments when you're present, you know when it's time to eat, you know when it's time to rest, you know when it's time to call a friend. It just occurs to you. That's wisdom guiding you. That's what I wanted to highlight, though, and Natasha is beautifully too, of living a life with greater ease it's spiritually what that means. You become more reliant on wisdom. That's all. Less thinking that creates tension, stress, and upset, and more reliance on when I'm present and intellectually don't know what to do, wisdom knows exactly what to do. And Sid would say, don't ever take anybody's word for it. You find out that when you're fully present, you do better in any life situation, no matter what it is. Even in life and death situations, or especially in life and death situations, you don't want to be caught up in insecure thinking. It's only, that's why they say in case of emergency, stay calm. Stay calm. It's your birthright. It's right here. It's a thought away. That's one of the most radical teachings of Sid Banks, who are thought away from everything you're looking for. Presence is being open to life energy so it can flow through you. And remember, life energy is full of wisdom, full of consciousness, full of creative potential, full of it. You're full of it. You're full of it. No exceptions. No exceptions. You have as much contact with wisdom and consciousness and creative potential as any other human being. It's just the degree to which you're open to it. And no one can think the way to it. No one can think the way to love and wisdom. No one. You fall open and wisdom brings you love and compassion and clarity and courage and kindness and whatever is needed in the moment, wisdom will bring you. I have no idea what it'll bring me, but I'm learning to trust when I'm not holding thought, it'll bring me exactly what I need, no matter what the situation. So I've learned nothing in my life that's more helpful in dealing with those incredibly challenging times is knowing that we're connected to this universal life wisdom that knows how to raise our spirits and guide us through. It's not a problem for wisdom to help guide you through a problem in your life. This same intelligence creates the universe and operates. It's not a problem to give you some wise guidance. So We try to bring that in our new book. We're trying to bring that idea down to earth, and we give lots of life examples, ordinary from our own lives. In our first book, we didn't do that. This book, we're doing that a lot. That's what we're working on finishing up in the book right now. There we go.
It's great news, isn't it? It's so simple. We are spiritual beings, but because we're born into a world of form and our five senses continue to tell us that it's real and it's that the only reality, we move around in the world of form thinking that's all there is. Yet, for many of us, there's this little scent of or feeling for something that is our true nature, our spiritual nature. And so there's something that continues to sort of point us back home. There's a calling or a longing to relax into this presence that is who we are. Thing is that the world of form, it doesn't only speak loudly, it sometimes shouts. And so it becomes really easy to be pulled into the drama of the world of form rather than staying home and responding naturally from this space. We're living, like Dicken said, we're living in this full potential of anything to happen. Yet our little minds go, oh, I can't possibly do that. Oh no, that's just for you guys, you're special people or special teachers, or oh, that person can do it. I can't. And we don't realize that we're living in this potential for anything. And that all that's keeping us back is our own little ego, who only sees this little tiny, tiny, tiny mind. It's like we're walking around with looking out of a keyhole. But something sees everything. Something is just present. And we are that. It's not only that we're connected to it, we are the principles in action. And so what we do in our books, what we're doing in all our seminars, all our webinars, when we speak to people, is we guide people home. It's all that Dicken and I ever do. We do it in many, many different ways, but it's the only thing we do. We guide people back to presence, back to who you are beyond and behind the world of form. I am not this body. I am not my thinking. I'm not my feelings or my experiences. Like Dicken said before, I am that which has been aware of all of the thinking and feeling and experiences I've had in my entire life. But that awareness, that consciousness is untouched by anything I've experienced. And so when I come back to that, the I, the purity of who I am, which is part of the oneness of life, when I come back to that, I realize that love is what I'm made of. Love is what we're all made of. Love and peace. And so it becomes a futile pursuit to try and look for love and peace out there in the world. Love through a partner or love through anything. You start to realize and recognize yourself as that love is in every fiber of our being. Peace is here now. And so it becomes, I sometimes speak about it as background, foreground. The more I rest in the background, which is just a way of saying, the more that I'm in this present moment, resting as being, resting as my essence, resting as one with everything. When I get something out there in the world of form and say, come into my drama. Look what Trump is doing today. Look what he said, or something else that is happening in the world. And if I go there, it's almost as if this being that's resting beautifully, the attention now is drawn out into the news channel or into a drama of my neighbors or a partner or something at work. And the moment I'm drawn into, I allow myself to be drawn into it, I am caught up in it. That's when, as Dicken was said, we get lost. It's when I get drawn into the drama of the world of form and forget who I am. It's all that ever happens. You either remember, and as you remember, you are it. You're just here. It's not. I'm not talking about a mental activity here. So you're either resting as that, or you're drawn into the world of form. And when you do, you lose your grounding, because the world of form changes constantly. This happens, that happens. It's so interesting. We grow up being told that you get a good job and then you'll be safe. Get a good partner and then everything will be fine. But we get married and then we get divorced. We get a job and then we get fired. We make a lot of money and then it can be taken away from us. It's so interesting that we look in the world of form to find something that looks secure. The world of form looks secure because our five senses tell us, oh, it's solid. This is solid. If you have $1 million on your bank account, you're good. But we all know people who have more than $1 million on their bank account who don't seem very happy or secure. It's not that. So we're very interested, Dicken and I, in pointing you back to the only thing you can rely on. You can rely on that which doesn't come and go. Everything that comes and goes, it can be taken away. You can get it, sure. You can get $1 million, it can be taken away. Sure, you can get a partner that seems like the man or woman of your dreams, and the person can leave or die or, So when you start looking towards the direction of what is solid, what can only be solid is that which doesn't come and go. And it's right here, right now, for all of us. And Sid said, as Dicken mentioned before, you're one thought away. Now, what thought? What thought are you thinking? What's the thought? It's that thought. It's the thought that you're having that seems more interesting or more important for you to go to, rather than looking at what's creating it. Now, Sid had two insights. The first one was an insight that he saw that we're living in a thought-created reality. Huge insight, huge insight. But then a couple of days later, he had an even bigger one, the one that we call the enlightenment experience, because he saw the mind of God, was how he explained it. And don't take God literally, but what he meant was he saw everything. He saw what everything is made of, made from. He saw how we are one consciousness. He saw everything. And then he saw how we got lost, how we all get lost. And he even got lost once in a while because it's so easy. So that second insight has always been the one that's been, to me, the most mysterious, but also the most, the path that I am endlessly curious about and that I'm endlessly a student of, because it's a path deeper and deeper within the nature of who we all are. And so I love that I'll always be a student of this. There's no limits to how deep we can go into that. And so how do we know we're on the right track? How do we know that we're looking in that direction? Because there's a feeling. Some of you might notice it right now, a feeling of peace inside. So it's not necessarily a happy feeling or a neutral feeling. In fact, the word feeling or emotion is a psychological term. Sid was pointing deeper than that. It's not that, oh, I'm really happy now. I must be in the feeling that Sid was talking about. No, happiness comes and goes. It's great when it's here, when it visits. Then it visits sadness, and then anxiety can visit, or depressive thinking can visit. But the more I look where it's coming from, that's the direction. And so when I fall into that feeling, I can have any psychological experience, any, and notice it. I'm not frightened by it anymore. It may be very uncomfortable. I had an uncomfortable morning. I even had an uncomfortable night. I was ruminating about some difficult decisions that I had to make today. But even through that, I know where to look. That's the only difference that Dicken and I are finding in our lives. It's not that we don't get caught up. It's that when we do, we know where to look to find back to home, find back to peace, find back to who we truly are behind the world of form, which looks so real, so solid. And that is the mystery of life, that what we're looking at when we look with our five senses, and how can we not? But when we get convinced by our five senses, we miss the essential, we miss the beauty of who we really are. And that's a life of ease, is what is available to us once we realize our true nature.
As ordinary as can be. I wake up in the morning, I'm present. I start thinking about everything I have to do during the day, and before you know it, I have a head full of thoughts and I start rushing. It's a very old thought habit of mine. I get rushing. And then the feeling is right there. Now that feeling of rushing is not a problem or a difficulty. It's letting me know I'm caught up in my thinking, and it's like an alarm to wake me up. And then I stop rushing. And then filling the pot of water for my morning coffee is beautiful. Just present, free of focusing on form, just presence. And then I make my coffee, and then I start making breakfast, and I start getting caught back up in my thinking, and it brings me back to presence. Then let's say I turn on the TV and I see the news, and I see about children being bombed, and I get terribly upset. And that feeling doesn't deny that. My understanding doesn't deny or judge or criticize that feeling, but the feeling invites me to open up to a deeper love and knowing. And then when I'm watching the news with presence, I know when to watch it and when to turn it off. I just know. I don't have to think about it. I just, okay, that's enough. I know that I can't be helpful to the world if I get caught up in my reactive thinking about the horrible things in the world. I can't be helpful any more than when I played football. If I get caught up in my upset about something, I can't play well, and I don't become a good team player, and I don't bring out the best in the people on my team and around me. I don't enjoy the sport anymore. Same in life. Right? And then we get news out of the blue. Everybody does. I get a phone call that my son has been hit by a car. He is 9 years old. I said, is he still alive? And the policeman said, I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you that. Because at that time, it was a law that policemen couldn't make any kind of give any kind of medical advice at all, or they could be wrong and then they could get sued. So I said, I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you. I thought he was dead. I'm freaking out. I've never been so frightened in my life. And I didn't even have a car, so I had to ask a friend to take me to the hospital. And on the way to the hospital, I'm so freaked out, I'm already at the funeral talking to people. And then I woke up. And then again, resting in presence. And when I rest in presence, when any time any one of us are resting in presence is when our common sense kicks in. And you know what occurred to me? It's going to be more helpful. If my son is still alive, it's going to be more helpful if I show up loving and present than if I'm all caught up in my personal thinking and freaking out. That's what occurred to me on the way to the hospital. And I got there before the ambulance arrived with my son. You can imagine my relief when I saw him and running up to him. But now I'm in a calmer, more present state of mind. And I said, I'm right here, buddy. It's going to be okay. And he's in a coma, but I'm talking to him because he's hearing me. You can take this with anything in life. Thank God we have these feelings. They're friendly invitations. Natasha and I love that word. It's an invitation to let wisdom guide you, to let wisdom lift your spirits. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I can't create me as a physical body, and I get out of the way. We get our little egos out of the way, our little personal thinking out of the way, and you begin to see it's the greatest experiment you can ever do in your life. See that when you're resting in the present moment, you don't do better. You don't feel better and you don't do better. Find out. Sid would say, don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. And unless you do that experiment, you'll never gain anything of benefit from these principles. You have to find out. You have to discover that there's a deeper intelligence than anything you can think. And that when you're not thinking, you don't become dumb and stupid. You become awake, alive, present, responsive from this deeper intelligence. Everybody, no exceptions. No exceptions.
I want to just say that if any of you are considering coming to the retreat in Sjøme in Norway, what you can expect is that we're not going to be talking theory. It's going to be a felt experience for you. We'll continue to point you in lots of different ways into this space inside of yourself. We'll be guiding you home, in other words. And so don't expect that to come and you'll learn all these things. We can't teach you. That's not our job. What we can do is point in the direction that we know is helpful. It's in fact the only direction that we've ever found is helpful, is to help people come back to themselves, find their true essence, find their true home, because that's where we live our best life from. As Dicken said, it's not about just sitting, oh, I found my way home, I'm just going to sit here on the couch. No, we're incredibly engaged in helping people in the world also look in this direction because we care deeply about people who suffer. We care deeply about people in all parts of the world that are suffering, whether poverty, war, abuse, anything, addictions. We've devoted our entire lives, Dicken and I, to do this work. We do it as individuals, we do it as part of the Three Principles Global Community Board, where it's our only vision and mission is to bring this understanding out to people in the world so that we can reduce unnecessary suffering. And so we're really excited to be able to come back to Norway and to share this with all of you. I know many of you who are already on the call are coming. But also, as I said, if you're considering it, if you can just get a glimpse of something inside that speaks to something that feels nourished by this conversation, maybe that's the invitation that we hope you'll take.
In the quiet of our minds is the only way we find what we're looking for. But that quiet is always there. When we focus on things, the intellect is built to start conceptualizing, and it creates a lot of noise. A lot of noise. And we start paying attention to that noise and start thinking it's true. One time Sid saw me really caught up and he said, Dicken, don't you know when you feel that way, you can just ignore everything you're thinking. It was so sweet. It's another way of talking about returning to presence. When I'm present, it's not that I stop my thinking or fix my thinking or improve it. I allow it to flow through me without attention. Then it's not a problem. I don't care what thoughts come through. I don't care what feelings are coming. They're flowing. When we're present, there's a feeling of presence, which is the feeling of flow. You can be in a horrible mood. You have two people in a horrible mood. One's thinking about the problem and it's creating all kinds of more stress. And the other one is just present and feeling it, but present. And there's the word that's used often in psychology is equanimity. The word Sid used, really down to earth, is contentment. You can be in a really low mood, and if you're in the flow of life, there's a contentment, a peace of mind. It's such a paradox because you're feeling shitty, but you don't care, you don't hold it. There's no judgment. It's just life energy flowing through you. Not a problem. Presence. Presence, a silence, a feeling, a knowing. Presence. Presence goes beyond duality. Duality will say there's a body and then there's spirit. That's a duality. In presence, you don't, it's not just I'm not my body. It's more than that. It's I am my body, but I'm more than that because I'm whole. I'm form and formless together. Both are true. That's what Sid would say. Both are true. Both are true. It's a whole. I am a wave. I am the ocean. I'm both. Both are true. It's when we say, I'm only my body that we suffer. I'm only form that we suffer. It's when I'm form and. It's not a either or. It's a form and spirit. So Sid would say, if you begin to experience the connection between form and formless, it's all one dance. It's all one ocean waving. Both are true. No duality. No, I'm not this. That means there's a duality. I'm all of it. That's the great realization. And we want people that Sid was convinced any one of us can get little glimpses of that. And the teeniest glimpse can change your life. And that's what in this Norway seminar, Natasha and I don't like to just talk about that. We want people to experience this glimpse of waking up, resting, presence, knowing, guidance, being guided, being lived by a deeper intelligence. Then wisdom is your teacher. Natasha and I are not your teachers. Wisdom is always the teacher. Always. The best teacher. Ultimately, the only teacher. When 200 people a day were coming to the island in Canada looking for Sid Banks, I said, Sid, what did you say to me? He said, I told them to go home. You can't get wisdom from another person. You won't find it on this island. You can only find it in the quiet of your own consciousness. Period. So he'd say, look for a quiet mind. Look within. Go beyond all thinking to presence. Rest. Get more familiar with resting in presence, and you'll find the secret to life. He said, that's it. That's where you'll find everything you're looking for. It'll be revealed to you. Wisdom will guide you, bring you what you need, bring you the feelings that are uplifting, bring you the thinking that's helpful. That's the good news.
Sorry. We hope that wisdom will bring you to Norway, to Schumer. I could see somebody asking in the comments where and when, and Tor just put in a link. But Tor, do you want to say goodbye and
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the practicalities? And I want to just thank everyone for coming. It's been wonderful being with you all.
Yeah, delightful.
There. Thank you so much, Dicken and Natasha. It was just beautiful, as expected. About the Tjøme retreat, this is a little island outside of Tønsberg in southern Norway. It's a 3-day retreat starting Friday for lunch, and then we go Friday afternoon, all Saturday, and half Sunday, ending with lunch Sunday afternoon. And it's a beautiful country setting with a forest and forest walks and a beautiful shoreline. It's like a 500 acre of woods and nature around. So it's really a nice, very fitting setting for living with ease. The link and the explanation is on a number of 3P groups and websites all over the social media. When we post this video, we will in the YouTube section also add the links and stuff there. But I also added the link here in the comments if you will look it up there. So looking very much forward to see Dicken and Natasha, and a number of you who I've seen here I know has already signed up. And we still have places. It's not too late. Okay, thank you so much.
Lots of love to everybody.
Lots of love. Hope to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.